Today on The Perspective, we'll be talking about Jada Pickett on the Red Table with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Talking about sex.
Whole lot.
Communication.
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night.
Come on out here, Oscar winner. Gwyneth Paltrow talks sex at the Red Table. Where do you think you learned most about sex?
Oh, books.
Ah.
So I would read like those little like fiction. I would always go into the library and you would always tell me, oh, don't read that book. Like you're too young to read that
And
book.
then of
Like,
course that would be the book
I would try to
you
be
would
reading
read.
Anne Rice, but I would sneak and read these books. And in these books there are sex scenes.
Oh
and
my
so
God.
I
You
would
know
just be
what?
reading.
I used to do that to you too. Yep.
I couldn't read about no sex scene. It would just be...
And me getting worked up? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just different.
I can't read, first of all, so how can I even read? That's it.
You know what they say? They say females is like, the masters of emotion.
No. Like showing more emotion? All the emotions you can think of? Yeah, I can see that. But I don't know about maintaining or controlling emotions. That,
John, give me the fucking recording. Why?
I don't think so.
Why? No, give me the recording. Give it to me now. Give me the recording. Give it to me. Give it to me.
What
now.
recording?
You're making a recording right now of me.
Yes,
give
I am.
it to me.
I'm just letting you know I'm recording
Give
you.
it to me right now. No, give it to me.
So this can be proven in court.
Give it to me.
Like master emotion, as in like they're the most connected with their emotions than I guess any other species on Earth. I don't know. Well,
On a scale of 1 to 5, how pleasurable is that?
5. Jackpot.
It's one thing to be emotionally vulnerable on camera, but to be sexually vulnerable, we've never really seen this before.
We were close to getting a divorce.
His parents are wondering why he doesn't have babies. And am I going to have an orgasm before I have a baby?
Okay, let's bring out a couple little pleasure items. These are
No matter what it looked like on camera, if you haven't felt that before,
crying, you see? Feel that. Hey, if you give me a massage and I start crying,
that might hit.
hey, I don't know what to
Don't
think.
you tell nobody. It's
Don't
us.
tell nobody. Shh. I'll be mad.
I was
Like, why am I crying?
I was dehydrated. Like Will said, I was dehydrated. That's all. My eyes was dry.
You see the Wolverine claw?
Man, I was
Hey,
about to say, like,
hey.
y'all need that big ass metal claw
Yeah, they
to
watch
get
out.
somebody out.
For the first time, Gammy and I were on the phone and we were having a very in-depth conversation about sex like it was nothing. And I got off the phone and I was like, did I just have that conversation with my mother? I was like, that's healing right there.
So how's that healing though? Like, ask me that. Like, okay, like, does that mean if I had like a deep conversation with my mom about sex, or my dad about sex, whatever that nigga is, does that mean like, all right, like now that I'm able to talk about sex with my parents, I'm healed?
Depends what closure you need.
I'm gonna assume she means personally, like something maybe that happened in her life when she was younger. Because
I feel like it's a conversation that didn't get brought up until now, so maybe it's like a relief of like a conversation that could have been had back then. So it's just like, oh, I can finally openly talk with my mom about this. So it's like a relief.
yeah,
Well, it's just like weight off your shoulders, like people that come out and be like, oh yeah, well I'm non-binary or oh I'm gay. It's just like, nah, I ain't gotta hide it from like the makers of me type shit. So now like there's no wondering what this is or what this is, because maybe her mom questioned her at some point in her life. So
you suck a dick. Yeah, I'm suck a dick. Whew. Feel free.
see, exactly.
I got that Quack 3002.
I can talk to my mom about sex. I don't know. It's just relationships. People that got different things. I mean, it's not something I'm gonna go to.
But see, I just feel like you being able to talk to your parents about sex or not shouldn't necessarily correlate with your own personal health. Like, that's like if you didn't talk about sex with your mom and I did, I'd be like, oh, you got some opening up to do. Like, it's alright. The road to recovery is gonna come. You just gotta be.
That's part of therapy is talking to people about what you got going on.
I feel you.
I mean, some people don't need it. Some people do. Some people are self-healing themselves and figure that out for themselves. Like me, I don't really have to talk to people about my stuff. I just figure it out. And yeah, sometimes I might vent a little bit, but some people, it's like it weighs them down. It's like self-conscious about themselves if they don't get it out. Like just got everybody's different.
I mean, no, I hear what you come from.
Or if you like, raping people, like that one video we watched, the dude was raping people at like 15 and stuff. So,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like to be able to open up about that. That's hard. I would be like, I'm 15. Well, first of all, I don't know. That's a whole different situation. But being able to open up with people that you're close to about that, it can be hard sometimes, especially if they're judging you or telling you this, telling you that.
But with that being said, like my son or any child that I had or whatever, like if they came to me and said like, gay or bisexual, trans, I don't care about any of that. Are you the pitcher or the catcher? That's because we all pitching in our family. We pitchers, hardcore. Like,
you didn't play baseball though.
But I still got on 3.
Negative.
I want to talk to you because I have too many girlfriends that have said they don't know whether they've had an orgasm or not, and I just think it's ridiculous. Really? Yes.
I'll send them some vibrators.
Yes, because how do you not know if you had an orgasm?
Well, a lot of people pull me aside to say I haven't had an orgasm, and my first question is, what is your definition of orgasm?
Facts. That shit. I mean, imagine having sex with somebody that don't know about their body. You just don't even know that they don't know about what they want or what they like because you just met them.
I think. I mean,
that's that part right there. I was like,
technically, if you think about it, that's a lot of females. What you just said is a lot of females. Like, and they don't want to be told that.
Real question: could it go back on guys?
What do you mean?
Like my perspective, obviously, is women don't know what they want in the bed. But can guys know what they want? How often do you see that?
I mean,
or not see it, but
I think those be for real, be like dead ass. I know it's a little shallow, but I feel like the dudes that can't like get off of like, if you can't get off of like penetration, not say anything can just get you there. I'm not saying that, but like, let's just say if you had, the worst kind of sex and the best kind of sex, right? Just like penetration, just simple as that. If you can't get close to even climaxing out of those two, given that the punani is standard, then I think that's because there's something a little bit more deeper to you. Like you gotta like fetishes or something. Like maybe you like, you play with some booty holes and get your booty hole, play with it, suck on some toes, maybe some hot wax on your nipples or something. I don't know, but there's something a little extra to that. And I'm not trying to say like men are just that simple to where any kind of contact we just busting. But what I am trying to say is we are physical creatures.
Yeah, like you said, it's deeper, but I think it just goes down to experience. Like, the more experience you have, the more you know about what you like and what you dislike.
But it's like, okay, like think about it. Like women can have orgasm off of like roller coaster rides. Like, you know what I mean?
Some guys. Not a lot of guys. I'm not saying I can.
When you find, if you find any footage, please let me know because I mean,
I'm gonna ask around.
Unless,
like you ever go on a roller coaster? You just ready, you know?
Nah, boy. Nah.
I've been on some fun roller coasters though. Been close. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I wonder what roller coaster it was. You got on Tomahawk? What'd you get on?
You know what was the most striking thing for me was to remember how important it is for women to speak up for themselves.
Yeah.
And we're not generally conditioned.
Yeah.
What happens when you don't speak up for yourself? You're also not accountable.
That's really true.
You know what I mean? You're not saying, hey, this is my half of this, or this is like where I feel lacking, or here's my insecurity.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to be accountable for our sexual selves. And if we're uncomfortable or we're not getting what we want, we have to muster the bravery to say, could I ask you this question? Or like, let's talk about this.
Right.
Like
the way I look at it is kind of on you. Like, I mean, think about it, because if it's like, all right, you need some kind of toy or something like that, like bring that or say that. Like, I know some people aren't comfortable with bringing that stuff into the picture off the flip, but this ain't the first time. Like, we've been doing this like third time. Like, I'll be honest with you, be honest with me. Like, if you want to get there, because see, if I had some kind of fetish, I know that's gonna actually get me off. I'm gonna go find that chick that's cool with that fetish, so I can get off. And be
but that's easier said than done. It's like, oh,
not really.
Suck toes, like that's not something that you talk about even on the first month of knowing them. I mean, I guess it could be, but it's just like that's that conversation you feel comfortable about telling people. It's just like hard for people to get into that. Like, I like hot wax, but that's initially what they're saying is you need to have that conversation at the beginning, at the jump. You know, if you do get into those situations, like, oh yeah, we got to have sex. Hey, I like my back being blown out, like in them shows and movies, all this shit. Can you do that? If you can't, we just be friends. I go, we'll talk to this dude over here.
I can understand that. If she said like women's got to be more comfortable with their sexuality in the bed, or what they like in the bed or whatever, you know, like I can definitely understand that, because there's a lot of chicks who ends up kind of getting a grasp on what they like that they didn't know they liked before, and then don't share that with nobody.
But that's the thing, and that's why I said it's experience. Because let's just say you had like 3 guys, right? The girl had 3 guys, and she did a lot of stuff with those 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
But now she knows what she likes. But then there's people that had sex with 3 guys, and it's been the same consistent shit with those 3 guys, and it's not really like you haven't like ventured out. But I mean, if they're cool with that, they're cool with that. There's a lot of people that are on that 3 guy track, and then they have like it's been the same, and then they'll get on with the next person, and it'll be like they try to do the guy tries to do some like different shit, and then they're like thrown off by it, and now they're turned off because it's not what they're used to. And I feel like this can be conflicting sometimes, and it's like vice versa. A guy or girl will be like hella experienced, and a guy will be like doing the 3 girls that he's been messing with, whatever, and then she throws some new shit in there, and now she so it's just like she can't express how she feels, and he can't do this because it's too new for her. It's just it's a lot.
You can't underestimate how much pain is caused between 2 people when they feel that they don't have the language to tell each other what's wrong, what they like, what they don't like. Couples unfortunately fail all the time because the conversation sounds so threatening.
If we married, I'm not trying to say like you gotta tell me all your deepest darkest secrets right now, but like you should be comfortable enough to like express your sexuality. Would be like, if you can't do that for whatever reason, like then y'all shouldn't get married. Like that's your hiccup right there. That's that red flag. It's like, oh well, I just felt embarrassed. What you mean embarrassed? I'm gonna be embarrassed if we get a divorce and then you take like 75% of my possessions and shit. And most dudes like can get with some shit. Like I mean, I can't even do no 2 girls in a cup, but show nothing on her Kelly shit. But I mean, you know, I'd probably be into what?
It'll be like, we'll see. You tell me, we'll see what we can deal with. We can't. But what if you're like in love with this person that they just can't open up with you about sex?
And then you don't love me because
no, you're in love with them.
Oh, but they got something like sexual that I don't want to do.
They won't open up with you about it.
Oh, they want to just tell me what it was sexually or something.
Like they got some desires that they
then I mean,
are scared.
Then obviously I love you. But like you must not obviously love me because I'm not saying like, all right, if you love somebody, you're gonna tell them every little last secret. But if you know that it's something that's integral to you being happy, especially on like a day-to-day or month-to-month basis or whatever, then you gotta understand like it's kind of up to you to tell me because I obviously can't read your mind. I don't care how long we've been together because not many people are as consistent in certain lifestyles. I just think it's just surprising though that, you know, they're pretty much saying like sexuality, whether it's expressing it, exploring it and shit is like one of the biggest hurdles. And y'all be trying to fucking y'all be trying to no, I gotta save for marriage and stuff. See, y'all, that's why y'all shouldn't be holding out. Cause y'all need to know yourselves. You ever had that chick where like okay.
I'm just curious what the conversation is, because everybody's talking about this conversation. Be like, don't touch my butthole. Don't go back there. That's how I always have to say. What shouldn't be a conversation about it. Unless she was like, I really want to. Which I've been in a situation like that where she was like, she want to do some shit like that. I was like, nope, we ain't doing that. I know.
Just skip all that.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
I'm good on all that.
Next. What else you have on the list? What else you want to talk about?
Well, we got hot wax. We got string shaving.
Is it scented? Scented,
man.
Like, because as soon as you make it unthreatening, then it's easier for couples to have a conversation, right? It's not, you do something wrong, or I don't like when you do this. It's just like, hey, I've been too shy to have this conversation with you. Like, is it okay if we talk about this?
That's a great way to start the conversation.
But you also brought something up that I think is supremely, supremely important, and that is the idea of accountability.
Right, right.
You know, that we have to be able to speak up when things aren't going well, when things are going well. You know what I mean? But that level of accountability that actually bleeds through our entire life.
Yes.
We can be accountable for our realities, for the quality of our existence, whether it's in the bedroom, whether it's in the workplace, no matter where it is. So that is a very, very powerful point.
Otherwise, we stay in victim consciousness,
Absolutely.
right? Like someone's doing something to me.
I
or
can't
not
do
doing for me.
Right, and then you don't grow.
That's facts. When victims are victims, they don't be looking at themselves.
Oh yeah, because it's in their head.
Why they're a victim and like what they could have done differently or whatever.
Because
they're a victim in any other situation too. But yeah,
it's because in a victim's head, it's like, oh, well, I didn't do nothing wrong. Obviously, because I'm the victim, so therefore it's all on you. You have to change yourself. Yeah. But it takes more than that. Like sometimes, like That's how you be getting a wreck with somebody because they ran a red light. Like, understand, like, it's mostly their fault. You know what I mean? But what happened if you actually...
But you didn't have insurance.
What happened
so
if you was actually going past the speed limit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you was actually going slower, you probably would have missed that person because they would already pass the light, or you would have been able to see them. You wasn't flying down the lane as fast. Like, you know, it's just because you victim don't mean you did everything perfect not to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. Like, it just means that at the end of it all, you suffered the worst, or you got the worst outcome.
Sex is so interesting because it's this microcosm for what's going on holistically in your life, right? Like, if you're really honest with yourself and you've really done work on yourself, generally you can be really close to yourself in the sexual way. And if there's a block, you can say, oh, there's a block here, or this doesn't feel right to me.
That Will and I talk about a lot is the journey. I mean, we started in this at a very young age, 22 years old.
It's crazy.
That's why the accountability part really hit for me, because I think you expect your partner to know, especially when it comes to sex.
Right.
It's like, well, if you love me, you should know.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you love me,
you should be able to read my mind.
You should read my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Huge
That's a
pitfall.
huge pitfall.
Yeah, it is.
Them being together, like, there's obviously expectations they both had on both sides towards each other, you know. But I feel like Jada feel like Will hasn't met those expectations as much as she wanted to or thought.
It's a possibility, but she's not really
I feel like she's trying to say she's trying to hold him accountable, you know.
Or maybe she's talking about herself. How do you know she's talking?
I mean, yeah, she could be. I mean, that's kind of what I meant in the beginning too. Like, maybe she does mean holding herself accountable and like not telling Will the stuff that she should have told him, so he can fulfill or try to fulfill whatever she wanted or needed him to fulfill to make her a little more happy or her life complete, whatever you want to put it as.
Hold yourself accountable, and then after that, then they're being held accountable to do what they need to do, and then it's just communication overall in the bedroom. But she's finally expressing how she is or how she feels. There's conversations that need to be talked about, but that's the thing too, is being able to express what's going on in your head when you guys are having sex or whatever the case may be. If things are getting old, you know, you gotta mix it up a little bit. And like I said, it can be hard to express that. Like, shit.
It can be hard to express it, but it's hard to get up for work. But you gotta find a way to do it, right? Like, she kind of, I don't know if she be planning it and just leave little breadcrumbs, or if she just be talking and then some extra stuff come out. She starts backpedaling. Even if she's not doing it, even if Will and them are cool with it and they talked about it or whatever, from a publicity standpoint, she's not gonna make herself look any like better. Mm-hmm. And I know some people might say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's about being real." But like, she doesn't have this show to be real. She has this show for views. Now, obviously, it helps to be real, or you want to be real because everybody's gonna know. If you got a fake ass show,
education purposes, but
I mean, it's gotta have some purpose to it. It's gotta have to keep it around. Nobody's not gonna say around with some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Let's go to the house.
He was like,
"Hey, could we get
talking to another chick
house
because
to
of the whole
interview
thing."
both of y'all, and then we get the real story out there.
Yeah, come on down.
We'll alter it.
Come to the blue table. Come to the blue table. Get it all out. You know, if you got any depressions, angers, or something like that, we can help you work that out. Civil, like.
Nah, but just advice in general to anybody, you know, have those relationships before you put it on social media. Because even me, I've like assumed some stuff and maybe we'll post some shit or just think the opposite of what trying to figure themselves out what they want. You know, people be confusing, say one thing, do the other thing. And then the sex on top of that is just you're not being honest about what you want in that aspect. So just be honest.
Yeah, that's the best thing you can do is be honest. Don't be afraid. Like, especially like any woman is watching this, don't be afraid to
Suck
say
some toes. Oh,
what.
I
I mean,
thought that's what you were gonna say.
I don't know. I guess some people's like that. I mean, if you like that, as a woman, then I guess go ahead and suck some toes.
If somebody out there is gonna like sucking toes, like you like sucking toes.
You see, he trying to prep her up. So
I ain't saying nothing. Don't touch
trying
my
to prep her up.
Don't touch my toes. I ain't touching your toes.
I think
I might. Never mind. I ain't gonna say nothing. But cause somebody out there is gonna be like, this is a perfect match. Y'all just gonna be doing y'all thing, and it's just gonna be like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I mean, but it all starts with like, I know it's probably hard to want to express yourself to somebody that you're not at least married to or been together for at least a couple of years or something like that.
But you don't have to be.
And you don't have to share that with somebody that you're not sure that you're gonna be with. I understand that.
No, I don't even think it's just that. If you share sexual desires with somebody and you do have feelings for them, and obviously it's not to the marriage point, but just don't be afraid to express what you want in the bedroom. Like, don't be. And then a lot of people are scared of rejection, and that's the biggest thing too. Like, oh, if I tell them this, you might not want to fuck with me anymore. Well, fuck that dude. If you don't want to fuck with you because you like doing that, then
always another one. There's always another one.
I'm not saying go try everything, but that's the big barrier too. Is like, I don't want to run through all these dudes to find the right one. Well, have that conversation at the beginning before you even do anything, and just be like, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. That's the thing. Have a conversation at the beginning of what you want and what things are. That's it. Because you could avoid a lot of bull shit at the beginning and save you some time and heartache.
Yeah. You can't lose by telling somebody like what you want out the bed.
You gotta hold yourself accountable, is what they're saying. Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta be okay with that. We gotta be okay with saying, all right, I need to be honest, not only with myself, but with other people around me, because I want the best for myself. And having the best for yourself is also being like 100% with people. Like, there's nothing that feels better than knowing that the people you're around, like, you was honest with it. You told them what was on your heart, what was in your mind and shit. And it just, you just left that at the table. You told them what's up. Like, that can really make you feel a whole lot more wholesome and just make you feel like you're a lot more intuitive with yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
not saying, you gotta say it on the first date. Guys be like, oh, she spilled her heart out to me. Like, nah, she telling you what's up. Like, same with the dude. Like, if he tells you all this stuff. But me personally, I'd ease into things. Like, I like to feel a person out a little bit, get to know you, make sure you're not crazy, but just get to know the person a little bit more. And then if you trust them, then tell them how you feel. And if you get to that point,
Yeah. And maybe if y'all actually like, and I know a lot of females try to make this like almost feel like, all right, I gotta keep it away because it's high demand. So I can't let a guy take a test drive because then he'll lose interest. But like, you gotta start, at least what I'm saying sexually, like if you want to know yourself sexually, you either gotta take the time and spend time like y'all say dudes do. You jack off a lot of them. Why don't you take your ass up in there and do what you need to do and figure out yourself more so you can know how to get from A to B more efficiently or just know it better.
Because in this segment, the part we didn't play or whatever, they talking about, the women, was it clitoris, was it vulva, one of the two. I don't know, I ain't got one. But just know that, and then, move things around. Do what you need to do. Experiment. That's it. That's what life is. Experimenting and learning from your experience.
Yeah, that's all anybody can do is just practice make perfect. It's just always being about fundamentals, no matter what you doing or what you in. It's all about fundamentals. And if you just saying, hey, eat my kitty cat until I reach somewhere, like, and you don't reach nowhere, you can't always blame that on God. Now, that's for y'all to figure out. But it helps a lot to know, like, all right, met a fair amount of chicks that say they know how they stuff works and all that stuff. But, I mean, I mean, I can say personally, I've seen a lot of like documentaries and little sex shows and stuff like that, where they openly say most chicks don't know their body, which I think is funny to say. You know what I mean? Because especially in this kind of age, like it's hard to say or speak for most people, and most people be like, no, that's not true. You know, like that's not. I'm not like that. I'm different. You know, but they actively say most chicks don't know their body, and so it kind of makes me honestly think like, all right, maybe most chicks don't honestly know their body. They just know things that helps them get to A to B. That's more popular, like pillows and vibrators and stuff like that. So yeah, just take the time, get to know yourself better. Don't be afraid to explore your sexuality. If you need a partner, find somebody that you trust. Like, don't always try to say, oh, in order for me to find somebody to try with, I need to be in a relationship with them. I need to know they're gonna be for me forever. Because you don't know how life's gonna go out. You might be over them, they may be over you in the future. You don't know that. But what you do know is you can hook up with somebody or experiment with somebody that you can actually have love for. Like somebody that you cool with. A friend that you know that they care about you for you, not about, oh, if you're in a relationship or not. I can't keep looking for the best love because, to be for real, I feel like females look for love too early in general. If y'all want to look for love, that's fine, but you can't think that, all right, like, my someone is going to be someone I'm going to find before I hit 30. Like, don't look for people like that. Look for people that's going to stay in your corner no matter what. Like, that's like, if you're going to look for a dude to hook up with, and it's not on no club and stuff, hook up with the dude that's been, like, actually your friend for, like, so many years. I'm not talking about the one that was simping until he got some. I'm talking about the one that was actually pulled up, had fun, you know, they are actually, like, connected and stuff, like, actually homies and stuff. Hook up with them and stuff and learn your sexuality, or, you know, tell them something about yourself, because the thing is, y'all feel self-conscious about your sexuality, what you might be into, but be for real, like, most guys in general are kind of explorative or, like, interested in just some basic taboos and shit like that, like foot play and all that. A lot of guys into some foot play. I mean, it's kind of different. Some dudes might like the foot in their mouth. Some dudes might like foot on their face, on their nipple. I don't know, but it's different. But you gotta understand, most dudes is pretty receptive to it. It's very few things a female can say and the dude be like, you know what, I can't do that. That's just nasty. I'm not saying exactly, I guess I am, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna hook up with a dude, or if you feel like you have to have a partner to explore at a certain point, what I'm saying is, instead of saying, all right, I guess I'll just explore when I find the love of my life, which could be like, let's say 32, right? So that means from 32, you gotta start exploring yourself, or I guess find some way to express to them that you want to explore sexually, and then try to go down that avenue. That's just too much. It's like, that's at least wasting 5 years before you get to where you're trying to go. Okay? If you ask me, yeah, I think that looking for love at such a young age is crazy, especially when you don't know what makes you happy, whether it's emotionally, mentally, sexually. Like, you need to figure that out before you actually try to commit somebody to be in a relationship with you, because if you run into a bump like that later in life, I mean, who's to know that you won't blame them for something that you should have had figured out before you met them. Like, it's a few things you got to take into consideration. So don't be afraid to gobble that stick. It's Thanksgiving time. Gobble. I had to.
Yep, that's a wrap from the